Stating how the draft will unfold is difficult, but this year, let's call it impossible. With all the possibilities of who will take whom and who will trade up or down is anyone's guess. I guess I shouldn't be surprised things are like that in a pandemic-fueled year. But a raging global pandemic isn't going to stop me from taking a stab at all things draft-related. Time for us to shoot our shot and see what unravels. So with this video, we are going to throw some darts at the board and talk about who we think are the best players in the 2020 NBA draft, sorted by each position. This is not very easy though. Why? Well, because a lot of players in the draft have played limited minutes this year, and we are going off a lot of highlight reels. Plus, several of the top players in the 2020 class are very capable of playing multiple positions in the NBA, which made it difficult for us to pinpoint who we should have atop each position. But after careful consideration, we've sorted it all out and are ready to get down to business. So here goes nothing. But before we jump in, please remember that if you've enjoyed the video thus far and can't wait to see who we think the top prospects at each position are in the 2020 draft, please remember to hit the like and subscribe buttons and make sure to tell your friends and family about the journey we are about to embark on. Now let's dive in a bit deeper. Let's go big or go home with the first one. With that said, we will start with the point guard position. And at this position, I have to go with someone bold, transcending, and not a flash in the pan. So for the point guard position, we are going to roll the dice and say that Lamelo Ball is the best point guard in the 2020 NBA draft. I know a lot of you might be rolling your eyes, but bear with us and hear us out, and then let us know your thoughts in the comments below. So the reason why Lamelo Ball is number 1 on the NBA All-Stars big board over any other point guard prospects is because of 3 factors: size, skill, and potential ceiling. Lamelo owns skill other players drool over, and I'm sure they practice hard to try to emulate what he does. The young man has vision, a natural and veteran point guard feel to the game, and of course, the skills to pay the bills with his playmaking ability. Let's not forget the young man is only 19 years old. As Ryan Howard from The Office once said, people keep calling me a Wunderkind. I don't even know what that means. I mean, I know what it means. It means very successful for your age, so I guess it makes sense, but it's a weird word. And we agree 100% with Ryan and how it relates to Lamelo. He is our Wunderkind. Even though Lamelo is tops on our list, we can't move on without mentioning honorable mention with Killian Hayes and Tyrese Halliburton. They are both safer options on paper, but nowhere near the ceiling that Lamelo has. Next on our list, we move to shooting guard. On the NBA All-Stars big board, we rank Anthony Edwards the highest out of all shooting guards. No, not the Anthony Edwards from ER, but this Anthony Edwards from the Georgia Bulldogs. This young man is one of the most intriguing prospects in his class. Anthony possesses a natural combination of explosive athleticism and shot-making ability, all at 19 years old. Those are 2 gifts that other players wish they had, and skills that teams would only hope to work with. As with all of the prospects, we have a decent amount of doubt that his efficiency, decision-making, and impact can improve, but nonetheless, he is the shooting guard we would take, especially if that's the position that you're looking to upgrade with your top pick. But even with the questions on him, the large space between him and the other shooting guards in this 2020 NBA draft is extremely significant. As opposed to the point guard position, where it is loaded with top-tier talent and depth, there's a real deficiency of shooting guards, which is probably catapulting Edwards' value up a bit more in this draft. Honorable mentions for shooting guard are Arizona's Josh Green and Jamias Ramsey, but neither of these 2 players have the ceiling that Edwards brings to the table. He has the potential to be an almost lock to put up 20 points per game and screams potential all-star later on in his career. If he can mature, get in the right system, because system play is big for shooting guards, and also clean up some of his shortcomings, I'd feel confident pushing him up NBA All-Stars big board a bit. Next, we move on to the small forward position in this draft. In our NBA All-Stars big board, we have Deni Avdija as the highest ranking small forward on the list. Avdija might be the sneakiest pick in this draft, depending on which team drafts him, as he will need a system that really suits his needs. But just watching him play, we can tell that he is a very good basketball player. The 6'9" Israeli star is a solid mold to become a star role player to fit in with a modern NBA team. He has great positional size, playmaking prowess, and has room to grow into a point forward-ish type of player in the NBA. The young man can grab boards and run breaks. he can cut up defenses, and when he attacks the rim, he can flourish with his improvisation. A lot of people are predicting he is drafted by the Golden State Warriors, and that could be a great fit, but let's be honest, anyone can be a great fit with that core team and system. Deni has a selfless style of play, which would fit well in a selfless system, just like the Warriors put out on the floor every night. As long as his shot improves, he will be a lock for any team to draft. Honorable mentions for us as the small forward position are Isaac Okoro and Aaron Nesmith. Moving on up the ladder to the bigger boys, and looking at the power forward position, we have marked into our NBA All-Stars big board, Obi Toppin. Are there concerns surrounding Obi? As with all the players in this draft, of course. But the comforting part about drafting Obi is you know what you're getting with him. In fact, he reminds me of a young Kenyon Martin who was drafted number 1 overall in the 2000 draft. And speaking of the 2000 draft, after this video, you should check out our other video, ranking the 5 worst NBA drafts since 2000. He's a fast twitch-muscled athlete who runs, flies, and finishes hard around the basket. He is a fearless human bird, as he led all of college basketball last season in dunks. So, like we said, you know what you're going to get, which is an above-the-rim finisher who can affect winning as an efficient scorer, but he is also someone who is capable of stretching the floor and making smart passes out of the pick and roll. Honorable mentions for the power forward position go to Xavier Tillman and Precious Achiuwa. NBA All-Stars big board top spot rank for centers is none other than the big boy James Wiseman. James Wiseman is a center who played with the Memphis Tigers. He is only a freshman and has the body of a grown NBA star. He is a staggering 7 foot 1 inches, 245-pound young man who is projected to be a top 3 lottery pick in this year's NBA draft lottery. Surprisingly to the average fan, Wiseman still remains a likely top 3 pick, despite a general lack of enthusiasm surrounding him after just 3 games at Memphis. Now, this doesn't always scream to avoid a player, but it also doesn't come without its risks. In his 3 games with Memphis, he was decent enough to be pushed to the top of an NBA draft board. Also, it's hard to know how seriously to take sample sizes, particularly with young freshmen who are still getting acclimated to their surroundings. Take Kyrie Irving, for example. However, 7-footers with his body type just don't grow on trees. Otherwise, every team would have one. Plus, his dominant size makes him potentially into a defensive juggernaut around the basket and makes him impactful hitting the boards and as a finisher. To give a little more perspective, an unknown talent with this skill set and size is Kristaps Porzingis. Honorable mentions for the center position in the 2020 NBA draft includes Onyeka Okongwu and Oleski Pokusevski. This year's NBA draft will be unlike any other draft, and I cannot wait to watch the never-ending NBA drama unfold.